Windage is a popular molding term that defines the amount of shrinkage compensation that's built into the tool so that the final molded part falls within spec. This model adjustment is usually a globally uniform scaling of the model based on either the material supplier's recommendation or historical data built over time. Simulation in plastic molding is used to understand not only the amount of natural shrinkage the material exhibits, but also allows us to understand how much the part is going to warp. I'm Alex Baker, and welcome back to the Advanced Tips and Tricks series, where today we'll be taking a look at how the Windage model can be exported from Moldex3D as a step file. When you run a warpage analysis in Moldex3D, there's several ways that you can investigate the material shrinkage. The first way is by going to the log file. I can go to Result, Log, Warpage, and then in the Warpage log file, I can scroll all the way down past the end of the calculation where the global shrinkage values are applied. These will be based on the Cartesian axes, and so you can see all three of those values here. Another way to investigate the linear shrinkage of the material is through the distance tool. The distance tool is kind of an inconspicuous tool that, at face value, just allows you to measure the distance between 2 points. So I can measure the distance between these 2 points here, and it gives me the raw distance. But if I hit save and close, then it gives me a marker, and this marker will stay overlaid as long as I have this distance object available. However, if I go into the warpage results, then that marker gets a little bit more interesting. I not only get the model distance, but I also get the deformed distance, the difference between the model distance and deformed distance. Then I also get the linear shrinkage between those 2 points. So for example, I could place a distance marker going in the inflow direction and transverse to flow direction, and I can get an idea of what the shrinkage values are in each of those directions. But this only tells me the local shrinkage value, and the log file gives me an average across the entire part, but neither of these really give me a good idea of what I need to build into the tool to enable me to get the ideal dimensions of the CAD that I actually designed out of the tool after the first couple of cycles. I can turn off these distance markers over in the model tree. And then to visualize the warpage in Moldex3D, I'm going to go to the deformation tool, and this will allow me to visualize the displacement that the material exhibits. Each location on my geometry has some color associated with it, and over on the right side, the scale indicates how far that node is moved from its original location. And this visual indication shows us what direction that movement is going in. So in the case over here, this is a red color, and so it indicates that this node has moved about 3 millimeters from its original location here. I can choose to scale this displacement. Up here, I can change the scale factor to 10, and that will exaggerate the warpage. So instead of this being 3 millimeters, now it's 30 millimeters, the maximum here, just multiplied by the scale factor. And so this allows us to better visualize how the part is warping, not only how the part is shrinking. It's very important that we understand here that total displacement is a combination of linear shrinkage and differential shrinkage. The linear shrinkage of the material is going to be automatically considered from the material property, and the differential shrinkage, or what we refer to as warpage, is going to be implied by a difference in properties across the geometry. This could be a difference in pressure, a difference in temperature. This could be implied by fiber orientation for a filled material. There's a lot of different aspects that go into the warpage, and you can watch a video that breaks this down a little bit further at the link here. But we can actually separate these two factors, the linear shrinkage and the differential shrinkage, using a mold compensation. The mold compensation allows us to input the material shrinkage value, effectively removing that from our display and leaving behind the warpage that the material exhibits. So for example, for this nylon 66 material, I'm going to input a shrinkage value of 1.2. This would be 12 thousandths of an inch per inch. And when I do an isotropic compensation, that's an indication that all three X, Y, and Z compensation values are the same. If I want to make these different values, like for example, if I want to input the values from my warpage log file, I can do so using an anisotropic compensation, and then I could put those values in here. This would be a little bit more representative as a global average. But this effectively removes the linear shrinkage, and so what we're seeing here is just the differential shrinkage or warpage of the final part. And so now we can understand not only how much we need to grow the part, but maybe even some regions of the part that need to be exaggerated so that the part warps back to the ideal geometry. Now you can make these adjustments manually in the CAD system, but actually Moldex3D has the ability to export the reverse deformed step file that you would build the tool around so that theoretically your part would warp back to the ideal geometry that you started with. That would be available under the Export Deformed Model option. And under Export Deformed Model, we have the ability to export an STL. That's the default here. But if I click on this dropdown for any analysis that was ran in 2024 onwards, you'll be able to export a step file. Now, this step file, given the name of the tool here, Export Deformed Model, this would actually export the shrunken model. But the shrunken model is not what I'm after. I'm actually after the reverse deformed model or the expanded model. That's what I would build my tool around so that when the part shrinks and warps, it'll go back to the ideal CAD that I probably started from in the simulation. To export the reverse deformed model, I'm simply just going to change my scale factor to a -1. This would export the expanded model, and I could import that straight into the CAD system if I want to, being that it is in step format. But how do we actually know that that part is going to warp back to the ideal CAD? Well, we can actually prove that in the simulation. I can import that expanded model into Moldex3D as a second run, and then run another warpage analysis. The final warped model that I get from this analysis should be exactly the same as the model that I started with. To prove that this is in fact the expanded model, I'm just going to compare the volume difference between the two. And so if I go to the information tree, we can see that the volume for the expanded model is about 138 cc's. And if I go back to the first run, we can see that the model was 130, about 132 cc's. Now, this doesn't indicate the compensation for the warpage of the model that was experienced. This exported model is not just a windage for the linear shrinkage of the material, it is also a windage for the differential shrinkage of the material as well. And although that's not going to show up in the volumetric information that I just showed, that information is present in the second run. I can prove that the expanded model is truly the reverse deformed model by simply importing both of those models and comparing them to one another. We can do so in the model comparison tool. Here in the first run, I have the original CAD. I'll go to model comparison. All right, and I'll compare the model. In the compared model, I'm going to import the reverse deformed model that I created. All right, so I'll import the step file. I'll do a best fit alignment to align the two as best as possible. They should already be pretty much aligned. Right? But we can see that the original model in blue and then the reverse deformed model in that dark gray color. And you can see that it is in fact expanded from the original geometry. But it's not only expanded, it's also warped in the opposite way. So that theoretically, when we run the simulation again, we should get an overlap of the original geometry and the final warped model of the compensated geometry. All right, so the second run, I have just imported that reverse deformed model, and I ran the same warpage analysis using the same conditions. And so the displacement that we see in here should be pretty much the same trend-wise as the first run, but the values are slightly different. You can see that it's just over 3 millimeters now. And so now what I can do is I can export the deformed model and compare that to the original geometry. I'm going to go to model comparison. My base model is going to be my warp result. All right, and my compared model is simply just going to be the original step file that I started with. And it looks like the original geometry was rotated into a more friendly axial orientation when I originally ran the simulation. And so I can simply just use a best fit alignment to line those two up. All right, and so we can see that in a lot of the regions, they are just directly overlapping one another, but I can actually get a distribution of how much deviation there is between the two by using create comparison. All right, in this case, we see that there is a positive and negative. This is the normal direction, so I can get rid of the compared model, and we can see the distribution, and all of this deviation is plus or minus 1 millimeter, which depending on the part, this criteria might change for you. But actually, we do see a very good match between the output from the reverse deformed model and the original geometry that we started with. This allows us to build a good amount of trust in the exported reverse deformed model. And this is a strategy that you can employ. Instead of applying a global windage, you can actually use simulation to effectively output the windage model for you. Thank you for watching this Moldex3D advanced tips and tricks. If you do have any suggestions for future discussion topics, you can leave those down in the comments below. Leave a like on your way out, and you can subscribe to the Moldex3D North America YouTube channel to get notified of when new videos like this are posted in the future. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.